Joining us now to discuss Bitcoin price and more is Justin Chuh, Senior Trader and President at digital asset manager Wave Financial. Hello there, Justin. Thanks for joining us. So inflation is rising. Investors are pulling crypto out of the markets. All bullish signals in theory for Bitcoin. So why are we seeing the crypto markets in retreat?
Hey, Christine. Thanks for having me back. That's a good question. I think some of the market was propped earlier, on the talks of Bitcoin ETFs, but that was really just futures activity. I think now that we're seeing there was not much corresponding spot activity in the spot markets. There was not much buying from participants, and honestly, the market felt pretty frothy in the 60 and upper end of the 60,000 handle.
So, what do you think is behind this sell-off right now, and how long do you expect for it to last?
Well, I think right now the behind the selling is obviously an end of year rotation. Some are deep in the money and taking profit and getting ready for the next cycle. But there's also the participants that are not realizing the expected increase in price from the ETF launch, and they're probably being paper hands and just letting go of their Bitcoin because it's not producing cash inflows, and they're probably not understanding how to actually use the asset as collateral.
Do you have any data or indicators that might show whether this is a retail sell-off or versus institutional sell-off?
No, I don't have that in front of me, but to add to the outflows of Bitcoin, that does play true to holders taking it off exchange and not being ready to sell. But like I was saying earlier, people are starting to wrap their Bitcoin more and more, and ultimately that'll be taken off exchanges too to use it as collateral in DeFi type protocols.
So the Fed is expected to announce quicker tapering of their bond buying program. How do you expect that will affect Bitcoin?
So the tapering and rise of interest rates will obviously decrease the value of risk assets because we're discounting forward cash flows even more. And if there's a whole risk off sentiment, Bitcoin is starting to become more correlated as a risk asset, and that'll probably hurt the overall market structure as fixed income products and traditional products will start to seem to provide more value and combat inflation. But no one's buying Bitcoin even though it's being used as an inflation hedge. They're not using it next year to make things more affordable. No one's selling Bitcoin so they can actually buy the goods and services that they need. It's more of a wealth accumulation and wealth boosting inflation hedge.
So do you think any hopes for a Santa Claus rally are off the table right now? What's your 3 to 6 month outlook for Bitcoin?
Yeah, that would be nice. I mean, if we zoom out on a more technical level and look at monthly returns, Bitcoin is kind of on a small downtrend overall, still a bullish market structure, but we wouldn't be surprised if we see 52, 50 on the upside, but all the way down to 36, 42, 46, 36, and even 29,000 on the downside. The next 3 to 6 months could be pretty choppy, and any of these moves could really happen overnight. We saw a 20% move just happen last week, and that could easily happen again, looking at things now.
So, Justin, what is your strategy during a sell-off?
Strategies during sell-off are, watching, depending on how sophisticated the investor is obviously just watching liquidation levels and health factors, because most of us here at Wave, we're a SEC registered crypto RIA, and we have put most of our assets into yield-bearing protocols, generating additional tokens to help offset any downward moves in the market.
Any protocols in particular you want to name?
Obviously, there's a range of things out there that help generate yield, but mostly we're deploying assets on trusted and used networks such as Ethereum and some layer one scaling solutions, as well as other chains, Solana and Terra and things like that. The more total value locked in there, the more that we kind of trust that blockchain and those underlying protocols. But we're looking for, to mitigate network risk and protocol risk and things like that too.
All right there, Justin, hanging tight.